All right, welcome back to day 3 of our LeetCoding challenge. Today is maximum subarray. So what it's asking us is, given an array, find a subarray. So subarray meaning that they have to stick together. We can't just skip numbers and just like pick one here, pick one there. They have to be in a row. That when you sum up the elements within that subarray, gives us the maximum sum. So in this case, 4, -1, 2, 1 gives us the maximum sum of 6. Any other ones will give us a lower sum if we try and add it together. And so we're going to be trying, oh, and actually notice here that the output, they just want the maximum sum. They don't actually need the array that we use to get it. So that can help make our code simpler. Okay, so the way we're going to solve this is I've copied the example down here, and we can notice that while we're reading through each element, we can basically ask ourselves one question. Should we, so if this is the sum, if we have to include our next number, x, is our maximum sum going to happen by including you or by making you start a new subarray? So we can see this more easily with an example. So at first we have -2, in which case there is no previous, so this is our new one, -2. So our best shot here is -2. Now what happens when we see the next number, which is 1? Is it better to use whatever previous maximum sum we had, which is -2, plus 1, which would become -1? Or is it better to just, start our new subarray here? And in this case, it's better to just start our new subarray. So our answer here is actually, if we had to include 1, it's better to have it by itself. So let's go on and read more. If we have to include -3, I would much rather it be -2. So whatever the previous was 1 plus -3, then for -3 to start by itself, because that's a lower number. So now we see 4. So in this case, we actually run into this case where it's better for 4 to start off as the start of its own subarray than to continue on with the maximum found before, which is -2. So the difference between -2 plus 4 and 4 by itself. So continue on, we can get that -1 here would be 3. 2, we would want to add 1, we'd want to add 6. -5, we just get back to 1, and then 4, we have 5. So in our calculations here, we see that the maximum one that we saw was 6. And that's by asking us, like if we had to add 1, like what's the maximum that we could get? And the answer turned out to be 6. All right, so let's code this. We have, well, let's see. If our array is empty, then we can just return 0. And now we have our max sum equal to the first element. And we also have, what the sum that we've seen so far. And now we're going to iterate through the rest of the numbers. So remember, at each step, we're trying to figure out, like, is it wiser to include this in whatever we were making before, or to make it start new by itself? So sum would be equal to the better of those two choices. So it's either whatever sum was plus num_zi or num_zi by itself. And if we see that sum is greater than anything that we've seen so far, then we can say max sum is equal to sum. And at the end, we can return max sum. All right, let's see if this works. Okay, looks like we got our expected answer. And all right, that's accepted. Okay, so that's the end of day 3, and I'll see you guys on day 4.